Hi, I'm Scott. I'm a Quiet Place fan.
Hi, I'm Senthil, and I'm a Bird Box fan.
So the two of us have decided, since we disagree, we're going to start watching as many horror movies as we can and come up with a new way of rate them. Come join us. Senthil, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you again.
Senthil, this week we are reviewing the movie called The Woman that came out in 2011, and it was directed by Lucky McKee. Now, I knew about this film because a gentleman, a author that I really enjoy, his name is Jack Ketchum. They released a book at the same time as the movie came out that goes into a little bit more of the horror novel kind of feel to The Woman. But this was a low budget film that was done. And we were talking about this off screen a little bit. It's not what you think it is when you start to watch it.
That's for certain. The direction the movie took was not a direction that I anticipated. I suspected that this was going to be a movie where we really question who the real monsters were. Paulina McIntosh, who we all know from The Walking Dead, who's playing the cannibal, versus the other elements that she deals with in the movie. So that went the direction I thought, but the ending definitely caught me off guard.
Yeah, the ending catches you off guard, and then for me, there was parts of this that were difficult to watch because you and I have talked about I'm not comfortable with rape. I don't like sexual assault in movies. I get it. It's a movie. It's sometimes you have it to drag the story forward, right? It's the need in order to get to the violence of, the vengeance. This was just I thought, and again, well done to the director. It bordered on just making me really queasy, uncomfortable, right? Because and the big thing, Cynthia, was like you said, it's what appears to be a normal family, and they're far from it.
Absolutely, and it wasn't necessarily just the physical violence and gore that was the most disturbing. It was the implied abuse that the daughter clearly had been experiencing.
Yes.
That they slowly start revealing, and you start to understand. That's pretty horrific in itself. And from that sense, it's a bit of a revenge movie too, and how that movie shapes out.
The scene with the boy and her was
tough to watch.
Yeah, it was.
As sadistic as they make this boy out to be, that was not something that I anticipated either. So that was a good direction for the movie, because it gets further into what a really disturbed family this is.
Now, this film is all based around the idea that this, let's call it an ancient nomadic tribe, and this is the last surviving clan member of this tribe, right? That he captures basically out in his backwoods. They live out in the woods. And the idea is the idea that you're sold is to rehabilitate, right? And bring them back in. But that's not what his plans are at all. And that's where things just start to turn and twist. And as we get to the end, for those of you who like things a little bloody, it gets bloody at the end.
The level of gore was more than expected for a small budget movie, micro budget movie like this. They did a great job with the practical effects, and I would have to give a lot of recognition to Paulina McIntosh for how deep she gets into the character.
She's phenomenal in this, right? Now, I've got to go find some more of her films, because she plays this type of character really well. I mean, The Walking Dead was, I don't want to say it's the same character, but it has some of the same traits as that, right? As she was in The Walking Dead, the garbage, the junkyard clan that she was the head of. But I'm with you. She really made that role work.
For certain. So what recommendation regarding this movie?
So for me, it's a definite watch. So this is one I would tell people to watch, with the understanding, with the caveats in there, that there is, rape, there is sexual abuse. It's obvious that it runs throughout the family. and that there is some pretty intense violence at the end. But why I would say watch it is because of that ending. And it's, you know, it's a peppermint, right? It's a, you know, it's one of those films where you just kind of go, you know, wow. And then you go, really, wow.
It definitely slowly built tension and escalated in directions that you could not have anticipated. Because initially, especially when you look at the movie description, how it opened,
Yes.
I really thought it was just about, we've seen movies like this before, a wild person who grows up and us away from human beings, and she just happens to be a cannibal. But it very quickly escalates from there in terms of the first scene where the dad brings his entire family to meet this captured
Yes.
wild cannibal, which is clearly not a normal behavior from any human being. So I liked it. I would definitely say I'd recommend it. I would say, just as you did, it's disturbing psychologically. It's disturbing in terms of the level of physical violence.
Yeah.
And I too, like you, as I've gotten older, prefer the psychological and supernatural thrillers that don't necessarily rely on physical violence, but that's a part of horror movies.
Yeah, it is. And Cynthia, actually, one of the things you said right before we started taping that I really loved was this movie draws you to think that you are watching a movie about this bad thing that's been captured. But really, about halfway through the movie, I actually, a third of the way through the movie, you start to realize you're going down the wrong river, right? This is where this director is leading you. And I thought that was really well done.
I did too. The totally, it's a well-planned misdirection.
Yeah, big time.
The real monsters, as we've talked about, is really not the cannibal, which is kind of a frightening thing of itself, that this wild cannibal is not the scariest thing in the movie.
Yes.
So, you know, I understand that the writers of the novel actually did this movie, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yep.
And so definitely our audience would recommend to check out the novel from Jack Ketchum and Lucky McKee, and the movie as well. I think we agree. We'd both recommend it.
Absolutely, Cynthia. Hey, another great discussion on another really well done low budget horror film. I look forward to next week.
Absolutely. See you next time.